My mother canceled my flight abroad for my dream job, saying, "Your place is here taking care of us." My brother added, "Yeah, who else will pay for my new car?" I just nodded and went in my room. They thought they'd won until the eviction notice I'd set up arrived at their door. What if the person you trusted most, the one who gave you life, betrayed you in the cruelest way possible? My own mother didn't just break my heart, she actively sabotaged my entire future, and I swear, I didn't see it coming until it was too late. You know that feeling when your whole world finally snaps into place? When freedom is so close you can practically taste it. That was me. That glow on my screen, the email confirmation for my flight to London, felt like a literal beacon. 6 grueling years, I'm telling you, 6 agonizing years I'd worked myself to exhaustion just for this. My dream job, senior relocation consultant at Marshall and Reed International, the kind of position that could change everything. It was finally within reach. My name's Melanie, and honestly, I really should have known better than to celebrate too early. I remember printing that flight confirmation, my fingers trembling slightly as I tucked it into my laptop bag. When I got home, the house was eerily quiet. And you know, that should have been my first warning sign. Mom's car was there, but the living room lights were off. Usually, she'd be glued to her reality shows, a wine glass practically glued to her hand. Melanie. Her voice, sharp, cut through the darkness, making me jump as she flicked on a lamp. There she was, sitting in her favorite armchair, that familiar, tight expression of disapproval etched onto her face. "We need to talk." My stomach dropped. "Can it wait?" "I have some work to finish." "I canceled your flight." The words hit me like a physical blow. "What?" My jaw hung open. I just stared at her, completely speechless. She took a slow sip from her wine glass, the dark red liquid catching the lamplight. "I used your booking reference. Told them there was a family emergency." She paused, a smirk playing on her lips. "You can't leave right now. We need you here." Just then, my brother Cole's obnoxious laugh echoed from the kitchen. He appeared in the doorway, car keys dangling from his finger, completely oblivious. "Perfect timing, sis. The BMW payment is due next week. You're still covering that, right?" The room started spinning. 6 years. 6 agonizing years of supporting them. It always started with, "Just until Mom gets back on her feet." Then, "Cole just needs help starting out." 6 years of watching my savings drain away while they lived like nothing had changed since Dad died. It was a suffocating, soul-crushing cycle. "You had no right," I managed to say, my voice barely above a whisper. "I had every right." Mom snapped back, her eyes flashing. "I'm your mother, and this family comes first, always." Cole, meanwhile, had plopped onto the couch, already scrolling through his phone as if this was just normal. "Besides, what's so great about London? You've got a perfectly good job here." "A job that pays for your car," I retorted, my voice gaining strength, "and Mom's credit cards, and this house." "Exactly." Mom stood up, swaying ever so slightly. "We're a family. We support each other. You can't just abandon us for some selfish dream." I looked at them both. I really looked at them. Mom in her expensive silk robe, fresh from her weekly spa day. Cole in his designer clothes, paid for with my overtime hours. They weren't even trying to hide their manipulation anymore. It was all so brazen, so entitled. "I'm going to bed," I said quietly, turning away before they could see the rage simmering in my eyes. "Melanie." Mom called after me, her voice sharp. "Don't you dare walk away when I'm talking to you." I closed my bedroom door, locked it, and pressed my forehead against the cool wood. My hands were shaking as I pulled out my phone. I opened the photos I'd taken earlier that week, pictures of the lease agreement Mom had signed 3 months ago when we renewed. My name wasn't on it. She'd been so confident I'd never leave, she hadn't even bothered to add me as a tenant. Just her and Cole, living in a house I paid for, but had no legal obligation to maintain. My phone buzzed with a text from Cole. "Don't be dramatic. You know you can't survive without us." I opened my laptop and pulled up the utility accounts. All in my name. All paid from my account. Then my banking app, showing thousands in transfers to Mom and Cole over the years. Finally, the London job offer letter, promising a fresh start and a salary that could actually build a future. They thought they owned me. They thought they could clip my wings and keep me caged in this toxic nest forever. But they'd made one crucial mistake. They'd gotten sloppy. Comfortable. They'd left me just enough rope to hang them with. I opened a new document and started typing, Notice of Utility Service Termination. My hands weren't shaking anymore. In fact, I felt calmer than I had in years. They wanted to play family? Fine. I'd show them exactly what happens when you push someone too far. Some daughters inherit jewelry, I whispered to myself, starting the first of many emails that would change everything. I inherited a lesson in karma. My phone kept buzzing with texts from Mom and Cole, but I ignored them. They had signed their own fate and didn't even know it. By canceling my flight, they'd just freed me to focus on something far more important than London. Revenge. And unlike them, I'd make sure to do it by the book. They did what? Tiffany's coffee cup clattered against the saucer. We were sitting in a quiet corner of a cafe across from my office, far from any familiar faces. Canceled my flight. Just like that. I pushed my untouched muffin around the plate. Mom used my booking reference, claimed there was a family emergency. That's actually illegal, isn't it? Probably. I pulled out my phone, showing her the lease agreement photos. But look what else I found. Tiffany's eyes widened as she scrolled. Your name's not even on here. After everything you've paid, 6 years of rent, utilities, groceries, I said, taking a sip of my now cold coffee. Remember when I had to drop out of college that first time? When your mom said she was sick? I laughed bitterly. She had exhaustion. Code 4, she'd maxed out her credit cards and needed my tuition money to avoid bankruptcy. Meanwhile, she never missed a Botox appointment. Tiffany reached across the table, squeezing my hand. What are you going to do? I already started. I pulled up my email. See this? Legal consultation request with Rohan from work. He specializes in property law. The cute one with the glasses? Focus, Tiff. But I couldn't help smiling. I'm removing myself from all utilities. Once they're shut off, Mom and Cole will have to put them in their names with their credit scores. Good luck. And the rent? That's the best part. Since I'm not on the lease, I have zero legal obligation to pay it. They signed a contract they can't afford. Tiffany leaned back, studying me. This isn't just about the flight, is it? The memory hit me like a physical wave, standing in the grocery store at 19, calculating if I could afford both food and Mom's prescription copay while she texted me photos from her spa day. They've been bleeding me dry for years. Every time I try to build something for myself, they tear it down. My phone buzzed. A text from Cole. Where's the car payment? It's due tomorrow. Delete, I muttered, swiping it away. He bought that BMW knowing I'd have to cover it. Didn't even ask first. Miss Walsh. A familiar voice made me look up. Rohan stood there, leather briefcase in hand. I got your email. Do you have a moment? I gestured to the empty chair. Perfect timing. What's the verdict? He pulled out some papers. It's actually quite straightforward. Since you're not on the lease, you can terminate utility services with 30 days' notice. As for the eviction, he adjusted his glasses. The landlord is within their rights to begin proceedings as soon as rent is late. And if they claim you verbally agreed to pay without written documentation, they don't have a case. He paused, studying my face. Are you sure you want to go nuclear? Family situations can get messy. I thought about Mom's wine-soaked accusations, Cole's entitled demands, all those years of manipulation disguised as love. This is mercy, actually. They need to learn to stand on their own feet. I'll draft the notices today, Rohan said, standing. He hesitated. For what it's worth, I think you're doing the right thing. After he left, Tiffany raised an eyebrow. Okay, he is cute. Not the point, I said, but I felt lighter somehow. I need to get back to work. Want to help me apartment hunt this weekend? Already found you one. She slid her phone across the table, showing a listing. My cousin's condo. She's in Dubai for a year. Says you can move in whenever. I stared at the photos. Bright, modern, completely empty of family drama. Tiff, hey, what are best friends for? She grabbed her purse. Besides, I want front row seats when your mom realizes her cash cow is leaving the barn. Back at my desk, I started drafting emails to every utility company. Each click felt like breaking another chain. A message popped up from Mom. We need to discuss your attitude. Family dinner tonight. Be there. I typed out my response. Working late. Don't wait up. Then I opened my browser and started searching for a name I remembered from childhood. Paris. Mom's estranged sister. The one we were never allowed to talk about. If anyone knew where all our family money had really gone, it would be her. My phone lit up with another demand from Cole about his car payment. I turned it face down, focusing on my search. They wanted to play games with my future. Fine, but they were about to learn that some games end with everyone losing, except me. I planned to win this one. The first utility shut-off notice arrived on a Tuesday. I heard Mom shriek from my bedroom, followed by thundering footsteps up the stairs. What is this? She burst through my door, waving the paper. The power company says service will be terminated in 2 weeks. I didn't look up from my laptop. You'll need to put it in your name. Don't be ridiculous. Fix this. No, the silence that followed was deafening. Mom stepped closer, her perfume suffocating in the small room. What did you say? I said no. I finally met her eyes. I'm removing myself from all the utilities. You and Cole are on the lease. You can handle the bills. Her face paled. We can't afford that. Sounds like a you problem. I turned back to my work. Maybe skip a few spa days. She grabbed my arm. You ungrateful little. Take your hand off me, I said quietly. Or I'll call the police and report you for assault. She recoiled like I'd slapped her. I'm your mother. And I'm not your ATM. Just then, the house phone started ringing. Probably the water company with their shut-off notice. Mom stormed out, slamming my door hard enough to rattle the pictures on my wall. An hour later, Cole's BMW pulled into the driveway. I watched through my window as 2 men in uniforms approached him. Repo men. No, no, no. Cole's voice carried clearly. There must be some mistake. My sister handles the payments. I opened my window slightly to hear better. Sir, the payment is 3 weeks overdue. We have a repossession order. Just let me call her. Cole pulled out his phone, but I'd already blocked his number. That's my car. Actually, one of the men said, it's the bank's car and they want it back. I filmed the whole thing on my phone, Cole's tantrum, him kicking the BMW's tire, the repo men calmly doing their jobs. Good evidence in case he tried anything stupid later. Melanie. Mom's voice echoed through the house. Get down here now. I stayed put, listening to their conversation drift up through the heating vent. She's lost her mind. Cole was saying. First the utilities, now my car. I know, sweetie. She's just going through a phase. A phase? My car just got repossessed. I need that for work. You haven't had a job in 2 years, I muttered to myself. Mom's voice dropped lower. I need to call Paris. Aunt Paris? Why? Because Mom's voice shook. She might be our only option now. I sat up straighter. Mom never mentioned her sister, ever. The last time I'd asked about Aunt Paris, I'd been grounded for a week. My phone buzzed. A text from Tiffany. Your stuff's all moved to my cousin's place. Keys are at my office whenever you're ready. Freedom was so close. I could taste it. But first, I needed to know what Mom was hiding. I crept downstairs, staying just out of sight of the kitchen where Mom was on the phone. Paris, please. I know we haven't spoken, but yes, it's about the money. No, she doesn't know yet. Paris, you can't tell her about the trust fund. It would ruin everything. Trust fund? What trust fund? Paris, please. I needed that money. Cole was just a baby, and after John died, she trailed off. Yes, I know it was meant for Melanie's education, but my hand flew to my mouth, stifling a gasp. The pieces started falling into place. Dad's death when I was 14. The mysterious college fund that had run dry. Mom's sudden spending spree. Paris, if you tell her, I'll deny everything. There's no proof. Hello? Paris. I backed away silently, my mind racing. There had been money. My money. And Mom had stolen it. Back in my room, I pulled up my search for Paris again. This time, I had a better idea what I was looking for. A knock at my door made me jump. Mel? Cole's voice was thick with tears. Please, I need my car. I'll lose my job. His mask cracked. What job? You're nothing without this family, you hear me? Nothing. I waited until his footsteps faded, then opened my email. Subject line, Dear Aunt Paris. Sometimes the best revenge isn't served cold. Sometimes it's served with proof. The eviction notice appeared on our front door like a declaration of war. I heard Cole rip it down, followed by Mom's scream that rattled the windows. Melanie. I stepped out of my room, laptop tucked under my arm. Yes! Mom thrust the crumpled notice in my face. What is this? Looks like an eviction notice. Don't you dare play games with me. Her voice shook with rage. Fix this now. I can't. I kept my voice level. I'm not on the lease, remember? You and Cole signed it. You're responsible for the rent, which you've always paid out of the goodness of my heart, not legal. Obligation. Cole charged up the stairs, face red. You evil little. Careful, I warned. Assault charges won't look good on your non-existent resume. We're family. Mom's mascara was running. You can't do this to family. Family? I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. Was it family when you stole my trust fund? The color drained from her face. What? Cole looked confused. What trust fund? The one Mom emptied when I was 14. I turned to her. Want to tell him, or should I? You don't understand, she whispered. We needed that money for what? Your spa days? His BMW? I opened my laptop, showing them my bank statements. Look at these transfers. Thousands every month for years, while I worked overtime, canceled vacations, gave up my own dreams. You're nothing without us. Cole shouted. Who do you think you are? I'm someone who's done being your personal bank. I started down the stairs. You have 30 days to vacate. I suggest you start packing. Mom grabbed my arm. If you do this, you'll regret it. I'll tell everyone what an ungrateful daughter you are. Go ahead. I pulled free. Tell them how you stole my inheritance. Tell them how you forced me to drop out of college. Tell them everything. I'm your mother. No, I reached the front door. You're my cautionary tale. At work, I found Ron waiting at my desk with coffee. Heard you could use this. That obvious? You look like you're fighting a war. He perched on my desk edge. Want to talk about it? I told him everything. The canceled flight, the utilities, the eviction, the trust fund. His expression darkened with each detail. That's not family, he said finally. That's financial abuse. I know that now, I sighed, sipping the coffee. He'd remembered exactly how I liked it. I just wish I'd seen it sooner. Better late than never. He hesitated. Listen, there's a position opening in our London office. Senior level, better pay than your original offer. I could put in a word. You'd do that. He grinned. In a heartbeat. You deserve better than what they've given you. My phone buzzed. Texts from Mom and Cole. Threats and guilt trips lighting up my screen. I blocked both numbers. Thank you, I told Ron, for everything. Back at the house, I found my bedroom door kicked in. My possessions scattered across the floor. Cole stood in the middle of the chaos, chest heaving. Still think you're better than us? He snarled. I pulled out my phone and dialed. Yes, police. I'd like to report a break-in and vandalism. You wouldn't dare. My brother broke into my room and destroyed my property. I have video evidence of him threatening me earlier today. Cole's face went from red to white. Mel, wait. Officers are on their way. Thank you. He fled downstairs as sirens approached. Mom appeared in the doorway, looking smaller somehow. Please, she whispered. We can fix this. No, I started gathering my important documents. We can't. The police arrived, took statements, warned Cole about trespassing. I watched from my window as he paced the driveway, ranting into his phone about his ungrateful sister. My phone lit up with a message from an unknown number. This is Paris. Got your email. Let's meet tomorrow. There's more you need to know. I looked around my destroyed room, at the life they tried to trap me in. Tomorrow couldn't come soon enough, because sometimes the truth isn't just about getting even. Sometimes it's about getting free. I recognized Aunt Paris the moment she walked into the cafe. She had Mom's high cheekbones, but none of her artificial polish, just simple clothes and kind eyes that crinkled when she saw me. "You look just like your father," she said, sliding into the booth. "Mom hates that people say that. Your mother hates a lot of things that remind her she's not in control." Paris pulled out a thick manila envelope. "I'm including you because you know about the trust fund." "I know about everything, Melanie." She opened the envelope. "I was the executor of your father's will." My coffee went cold as she laid out document after document. Bank statements, legal papers, letters. "Your father left you everything," Paris explained. "The house, his savings, his shares in his company. It was meant to be held in trust until you turned 25. My hands shook as I picked up a bank statement. "This says $500,000, plus the house and company shares." Paris's voice hardened. "Until Noel forged my signature and emptied everything when you were 14. "How?" "She knew the right people. Paid them well. With your money." She pushed forward a letter. "This was from your father to you." She kept it hidden. The paper felt fragile in my hands. Dad's handwriting was exactly as I remembered. "My dearest Melanie," I read aloud, throat tight. "If you're reading this, I didn't make it, but I made sure you'll be taken care of. The house is yours. The business is yours. Your future is secure. Don't let anyone take that from you. Love, Dad." "She took everything," Paris said softly. The house was sold and rebought in her name. The business shares cashed out. The trust fund drained. For what? My voice cracked. Designer clothes. Vacations. Status. Your mother's always been obsessed with appearances. Paris pulled out more papers. But here's what she doesn't know. I kept copies of everything, the original will, the forged documents, the transfer records, even recordings of her threatening the bank manager. I stared at the evidence of my stolen life. "Why didn't you come forward sooner?" "She threatened to hurt you if I did." Paris's eyes filled with tears. "I'm so sorry, Melanie. I should have found another way. It's not your fault." I touched the letter again. "But we can make it right. The statute of limitations on fraud hasn't expired." She smiled grimly. "And I've got an excellent lawyer." My phone buzzed. Mom calling from a new number. I declined it. "She's desperate," I said. "The utilities are being cut off. Eviction's in process. Karma's finally catching up." Paris hesitated. "There is something else you should know. About your real last name." "What do you mean?" "The name on your birth certificate isn't Walsh. It's Reeves. Your father's name. Noel changed it after he died, said it would be easier if you matched her name." Another piece of identity stolen. Another lie exposed. "She's been calling me," Paris continued, "begging for money, threatening to expose old family secrets. She doesn't realize she's the secret that needs exposing." My phone lit up with a text from Cole. "Mom's crying because of you. Hope you're happy, selfish." I showed Paris the message. They still think they're the victims. Abusers usually do. She gathered the documents. "These are copies for you. The originals are safe with my lawyer. Whatever you decide to do next, you have proof." "What would you do?" "I'd burn their whole world down." She squeezed my hand. "But legally, always legally." Back at Tiffany's cousin's condo, I spread the documents across my new kitchen counter. The truth laid bare in black and white. Every theft, every lie, every manipulation. My phone buzzed again. "Mom," standing on my old front porch, mascara streaked. "You don't understand, Melanie. We needed you. We still do." I watched her through the security camera I'd installed. She looked small, desperate, human. But so had I at 14 when she stole my future, at 19 when she forced me to drop out of college, at 28. When she canceled my flight to freedom. I picked up my father's letter, reading it one more time. Then I opened my laptop and typed, "Dear Mr. Harrison, I'd like to press charges for financial fraud." Sometimes the truth isn't just about justice. Sometimes it's about reclaiming what was always meant to be yours. "I will never bleed myself dry so you can keep pretending we're a family." The words left my mouth like ice as Mom swayed on the front porch, wine glass in hand. "You don't mean that," she slurred. "We're blood. Blood that you stole from." "How much was in that trust fund again?" $500,000. She flinched. "Paris told you." She showed me everything. The forged documents, Dad's letter, my real birth certificate. I did what I had to do. She stepped forward, wine splashing. You were just a child. You didn't know what money meant. But you did, right? That's why you spent it all on yourself. A car door slammed. Cole emerged from an Uber, looking disheveled. Mom, why are you outside? Your sister. She's destroying this family. No, I held up my phone, showing them both the legal documents Paris had sent. You did that when you stole my inheritance. Cole's face twisted. You're lying. Am I? Ask Mom where your BMW payments really came from all these years. Ask her where she got the money for her weekly spa treatments. Shut up. Mom threw her wine glass. It shattered against the wall beside me. I pressed record on my phone. That's assault, Mom. Want to try for more charges besides fraud? Charges? Cole's voice cracked. What charges? The ones Paris's lawyer filed this morning. Fraud, identity theft, embezzlement from a minor's trust. I stepped back as Mom lunged forward. You wouldn't dare. Watch me. I turned to leave. You have 25 days left before eviction. I suggest you start looking for jobs instead of throwing wine glasses. Jobs. Cole laughed hysterically. We don't do jobs. We're better than that. Not anymore. Back at my new condo, I found Imran waiting with takeout. Thought you might need dinner after the showdown. That obvious? Tiffany texted me. She's worried about you. We sat at my kitchen counter, sharing noodles while I showed him the trust fund documents. This is serious fraud, he said, examining the papers. They could face jail time. Mom definitely will. Cole might escape it since he was a kid when it happened. I pushed my food around. Is it wrong that I don't feel bad after what they did? Imran touched my hand. You're allowed to want justice. My phone buzzed with notifications. Cole had gone on a social media rampage, posting about his psycho sister destroying the family. Look at these comments, I said, showing Imran. Our mutual friends are all unfollowing him. They're asking what he means about fraud charges. Truth has a way of exposing itself. A voice message from Mom popped up. You owe us. You'll regret this. Family protects family. I forwarded it straight to Paris's lawyer. The London position, Imran said suddenly, it's yours if you want it. Better salary than before. And he hesitated. I might be transferring there, too. My heart skipped. Might be, if you say yes. Before I could respond, my phone lit up with an alert from my security cameras. Cole was at my old house, loading boxes into another Uber. They're actually packing, I whispered. Reality's finally hitting home. I watched through the camera as Mom appeared, clutching photo albums. Look, I said, the family station wagon's gone. They must have sold it. Are you okay? I searched for the word. Free. A notification popped up. Someone had left something on my old front porch. I switched cameras. Is that my childhood memory box? The one Mom had always kept safe in her closet. She's leaving it behind. Wanna go get it? I thought about the photos, the letters, the pieces of my past locked inside that box. No. Let her keep it. I'm done living in memories. Imran smiled. London's looking better every minute, isn't it? You know what? I closed the security app, turning away from my old life. It really is. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Mom. You'll regret choosing money over family. I typed back, you did that first. The difference is, I'm choosing myself. Then I blocked her final number and looked at Imran. Tell me more about London, because sometimes the best revenge isn't looking back at all. Eviction day dawned cold and clear. I sat in Tiffany's car across the street, watching the locksmith change the locks while Mom screamed at the landlord. You can't do this. Her voice carried across the lawn. We've lived here for years and haven't paid rent in 2 months, the landlord replied calmly. The eviction notice was legal. Your time is up. Imran's hand found mine in the back seat. You don't have to watch this. Yes, I do. The moving company I'd hired, paid for as one last act of mercy, began carrying out furniture. Cole paced the driveway, filming everything on his phone while ranting about family betrayal. He's live streaming it, Tiffany said, checking her phone. The comments are not on his side. A familiar car pulled up. Aunt Paris, carrying a thick folder. She joined us in our observation post. The police called, she said. Your mother's being charged with fraud next week. They have all the evidence they need. Look, Imran pointed at the house. Mom's trying to stop the movers from taking her designer couch. Should we intervene? No, I squeezed his hand. Let her learn what it feels like to lose things. Cole's voice suddenly rose above the chaos. This is all your fault. He was pointing at me through the car window. You did this to us. No, I said, stepping out of the car despite Imran's protest. You did this to yourselves. We're your family. Family doesn't steal trust funds. Family doesn't force you to drop out of college. Family doesn't clip your wings to keep you in their cage. I hate you. He charged forward, but Tiffany and Imran moved to flank me. Careful. Paris called out. Assault charges won't help your situation. Cole punched the nearest wall instead, howling when his knuckles cracked. The landlord signaled to the police officer on standby, who quickly moved to escort Cole away. Melanie, please. Mom stumbled down the front steps. Where are we supposed to go? That sounds like a you problem. I threw her words back at her. Maybe skip a few spa days. I'm your mother. No, I held up the documents Paris had given me. You're a thief who happened to give birth to your victim, and now you're facing consequences. She crumpled to the ground, mascara running. The perfect picture of maternal devastation. But I'd seen this performance too many times before. Get up, Noelle, Paris said tiredly. The theatrics won't work anymore. Mom's eyes hardened. You did this. You turned her against me. The truth did that. Paris handed me another document. Speaking of which, I scanned the paper, my eyes widening. You bought shares in the property through my company? Paris smiled. To ensure they can never rent here again. Consider it partial repayment for what she stole from you. Cole was still ranting to his phone camera, but his audience had dwindled to zero. The movers efficiently packed the last boxes into their truck. Time's up, the landlord announced. Property needs to be cleared now. Wait. Mom ran inside, emerging with my childhood memory box. Take it. These are your precious memories, right? She hurled the box at my feet. Photos, letters, and mementos scattered across the lawn. I didn't move to pick them up. Keep them. I'm making new memories now. In London, she laughed bitterly. Running away won't change who you are. You're still my daughter. Actually, I pulled out my father's birth certificate, my real one. I'm James Reeves's daughter, and I'm finally claiming everything that means. The police officer stepped forward. Mom, you need to leave the property now. I watched them go. Mom, sobbing dramatically. Cole filming one last angry tirade. The locksmith finished changing the locks. The movers drove away. Just like that, it was over. Tiffany hugged me tight. You did it. We did it, I corrected, looking at my support system. Tiffany, Imran, Paris. People who lifted me up instead of dragging me down. Ready to go? Imran asked softly. Our flight to London's tomorrow. I took one last look at the house where I'd been trapped for so long. Through the window, I could see the empty spaces where furniture had stood, the blank walls where photos had hung. You know what? I turned away, linking my arm through his. I've been ready for years. Because sometimes the happiest ending isn't about what you keep, it's about what you leave behind. My new passport felt different in my hands. Melanie Reeves, it read. My father's name restored. My identity reclaimed. The London-bound flight would board in an hour. Last chance to back out? Tiffany teased, sliding into the airport cafe seat across from me. Not a chance. I showed her the latest email from Paris's lawyer. Mom took the plea deal. 2 years for fraud, plus restitution payments. And Cole? Community service. He's living with our second cousin, working at their hardware store. I smiled. Actually working, for once in his life. Imran appeared with coffee for all of us. Gates opening soon. You ready? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed with a text from Paris. Meet me at security. There's one last thing you need to see. We found her waiting by the TSA line, holding a weathered leather briefcase. This was your father's, she said, handling it like something precious. Noelle hid it in her storage unit. The police found it during their investigation. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside lay business documents, old photos, and a sealed envelope with my name on it. He wrote this the day before the accident, Paris explained. It was supposed to go with the will. The letter was dated exactly 14 years ago. My dearest Melanie, I read. If you're reading this, something's happened to me. I need you to know the truth. Your mother isn't who she pretends to be. She married me for my company. Tried to force me to sign it over to her. I refused. I'm changing my will tomorrow, putting everything in a trust for you. Only you. Because you have something she never will, integrity. A soul that can't be bought. The company shares are yours. The London office is yours. Everything I built for you. Don't let her clip your wings, sweetheart. You were born to fly. Love always, Dad. Attached was a photo I'd never seen, Dad holding baby me, standing in front of an office building in London. Marshall and Reed International. Wait, I looked at Imran. Marshall and Reed. That's your father's company. He grinned. Where you're about to be senior consultant, in your own family's firm. Paris told me last week, Tiffany admitted. We wanted it to be a surprise. The board knows everything, Paris added. They're ready to acknowledge you as James's heir. The shares your mother stole? They're being restored to you. The final boarding call echoed through the terminal. Time to go, Imran said softly. I hugged Paris tight. Thank you for everything. Just promise me something, she wiped away tears. Make him proud. She already is, Tiffany said, pointing at her phone. She pulled up a news article. Local woman faces fraud charges after stealing daughter's inheritance. The photo showed mom being led into court. No designer clothes or perfect makeup to hide behind. Just consequences finally catching up. Last call for Flight 237 to London Heathrow, the announcer called. I shouldered my carry-on, tucking Dad's letter safely inside. Ready? Wait. Imran pulled me close. I need to ask something first. Here, now. He took my hand. Have dinner with me in London. Not as colleagues or friends, but as a date. The first of many, I hope. Tiffany squealed. Paris beamed. Yes, I said, standing on tiptoe to kiss his cheek. Absolutely yes. We went through security together, leaving behind the ghosts of my past. No more manipulation, no more theft, no more chains disguised as family ties. At the gate, I turned to take one final look at American soil. My phone lit up with a message from Cole. Surprisingly, Mom's crying in her cell. Says she's sorry. Says she loves you. Want me to pass on a message? I typed back, tell her I love me too. Finally. Then I turned off my phone, took Imran's hand, and walked toward my future. Because sometimes the happiest endings aren't about forgiveness or reconciliation. Sometimes they're about taking back what was always yours. Your name, your legacy, your right to fly. Ready for takeoff? Imran asked as we settled into our seats. I looked out the window at the rising sun, thinking of Dad's words. You were born to fly. You know what? I squeezed his hand. I've never been more ready. Some people inherit money. Some inherit names. I inherited a fire that no one could extinguish. Not even the people who should have fanned my flames. So, tell me, have you ever had to reclaim something that was unjustly taken from you? What did you do? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.